Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the land on which we study and the site for my design exists, and pay my respects to the elders both past, present, and emerging. He stopped and listened to the wind to see if he could hear his people. Goralia, the rainbow serpent, created rivers, mountains, ridges. The connection between a rainbow and a snake is more than the shape. It is to do with the fact that water is a human life source, the Birrarung. This Dreamtime story is the inspiration of my design. In Banksia Park, Heidelberg, that presently is heavily represented by European colonization with artistry signposts, there is a new building emerging from the earth that offers respite, recovery, and rejuvenation in a way that lends a voice to the elders, past, present, and emerging. It offers shelter to those in need and a sanctuary for local communities to come together to learn skills such as knitting, sewing, food cooking, weaving, and gardening in an Indigenous way, yet utilising the orchard that exists, embracing all facets of our Australian history. The Crisis Accommodation and Cultural Centre aims to retell the past, provide for the present, and instill skills for the future. It is a place for all to belong and to be heard, a place where what happens to one happens to all. I am Australian, and when asked what is my culture, I felt such a mix of emotions. Growing up in Mandurah, not far from the site of Pinjarra massacre, I was very aware of the travesties that occurred between the British colonies and Aboriginals, the horror of children taken from their families. I always felt an unease of being white. Yet I am wanting to learn Indigenous ways and have always been drawn to the earth, plants and stars. I find respite and rejuvenation in nature. My childhood was fishing, crabbing, prawning, and only enough for us to eat. I see similarities to Indigenous ways. The assimilation of young Aborigines always brings me to tears, and as a mother I don't know what I would do. This was launching point for my investigation to share housing and homelessness. I investigated all cultures in this regards to find that the highest number of homeless people are people my age with children. Homelessness is not always people sleeping on the streets, but couch surfing. Around 195,000 Australian households are waiting for social housing. 1 in 10 of those are Indigenous. 4 in 10 have one or more members with a disability. Claude Parent and Paul Virilio's architectural principle of fractured volumes has been borrowed. The inclined surface of the roof and the internal ramps create the oblique function, generating the fluidity of movement to foster deeper human relationships. This fluidity is also representative of the Birrarung, fostering a state of receptiveness, participation, and adhesion to dynamic change and growth. The fractured volumes are the upthrusts created by the splintered roof, representative of the past. The Nora Mosque and Community Centre offered a guidance with form, structure and the use of environment and light. Borrowed from this precedence is the concept of being able to walk on the roof, revegetating and giving back to the earth, allowing light to penetrate deep in through the roof cracks. Berry Shen's Edgeland House shared similar concepts as the Nora Mosque Community Centre of embedding into the earth. This offers nourishment like the gift of food and grounding to provide comfort and a sense of belonging. A site analysis was conducted looking at the sun, wind, floodplains, park and historical overlays and planning, vegetation, bushfire zones and contours. The south side of the site was 4 metres higher than the river north side, lending itself to becoming a sloping plain gaining access to the roof. A drop into the floodplain of 2.5 metres enabled the concept of creating a cave-like structure under the building for Indigenous art. To deal with the floodplains, drainage would be incorporated to allow the water to flow through the building and wash away naturally. In the book Braiding Sweet Grass, I love the concept of science meets spirit and the phrase, "The land knows you, even if you're lost." This concept takes into consideration the Yarra River Action Plan to improve community access to, along and on the river, increase the opportunities to enjoy the river parklands, create destinations to improve visitor experience, and quality public places for recreation, celebration and coming together. The site, the rainbow serpent and the Birrarung form the concept with the premise of following the form of the land and rebuilding on the road. The building submerged into the earth gives thanks, burrowing into the ground. It is an amalgamation of built form, environment and light. The shape of the building rises from the bitumised car park, extruding in form, leaving the tree in the middle already planted. Then the gentle slope of the slide runs over the roof, greening and insulating. The building is enveloped by the earth, offering an embrace, a discreet gathering place along the Birrarung. The slopes of the roof crack the surface as if breathing with the earth, letting light into the spaces below. The internal space has views to sky and a connection to the exterior. A tree is enclosed, original from the car park that offers light, greenery. There is a circular outdoor area for fire stories and sharing, internal circular walls enclosed spaces for cooking, weaving and art. A cafe produces meals helped by visitors for local produce made on site. There are 25 private accommodations with bathroom and kitchenettes. These may be movable walls to accommodate families. And on the east side are camp shelters. Doors are completely openable for people who prefer open air or lockable for security. Embedding the building into the earth aims to make the building thermally sustainable, with the earth keeping it cool in summer and warm in winter. The largest windows are north side, ensuring heating and cooling is catered for, and a cross flow of ventilation from east to west ensures the air can travel through the building. Analysis of the site and context ensure appropriate engagement with current trees and with revegetation alongside the river, offering food strategies. The aim of the building is that you should only see glimpses of the building, and coming back from the river is when it should stand proud and be visually striking. The designs of camps opening out on the east side offer a connection to the river. The program will respond to the creative lives of Indigenous people and offer a contemporary and discreet gathering places along the Birrarung. The connection to the site and culture aims to create and foster a sense of belonging. The belonging pays respect to the Birrarung custodians and their values and aims to build respect and stronger relationships. This sense of belonging, a unification of all cultures to be heard and listened to. It aims to be culturally rich and giving, connected to land, earth and spirit. This has my heart, a space to retell our Indigenous past.